edition. Tune in for a listen. Travels, movies, and celebrities with Scott and Kristen. Swish edition, it's where we all go. For pop culture silliness from coast to coast. It's where we belong. SwishEdition.com. SwishEdition.com.
You ready? Hey, Kristen, you might get a kick out of this, and she might get in trouble. Kamala Harris, who used to be vice president of the United States and ran for president last year, she was on Colbert on Tuesday night, I believe it was. And she said during the interview, Colbert showed a picture of her sitting in the dining room at the Naval Observatory, which, of course, is where the home of the vice president of the United States is. She was sitting there at a table in the dining room. She was leaned back in the chair. She had an iPhone on her knee, and she was wearing those white wired earbuds that you can get for an iPhone. And she said, the reason I'm wearing wired headphones is because I used to be in all the classified meetings as a senator and a vice president, and I know that wireless AirPods are not safe. Other people can listen to your conversations.
Yowza.
Now, is she going to get in trouble for saying that in public? Or does no one care and everyone probably already realizes that, yes, they're probably not super, super secure. So if you're on the airplane, if you're in the airport, if you're on the train, maybe you shouldn't be using them if you're talking about something sensitive, right? If you're a businessman.
I think most people know that.
Yeah.
No?
Because I think it's pretty easy. I mean, so the AirPods connect to your phone via Bluetooth. So, of course, they could be easily intercepted by someone else on the train, right? If that person knows what they're doing. I probably wouldn't know how to hack into your AirPods, but there are lots of people out there who know how to do stuff like that, right? I mean, there are people who are sophisticated enough who can go along with a little device and hold it near your purse or your wallet in your back pocket and get the information off your credit cards.
Yeah.
That can be done.
Yeah.
So I can see how this could be a thing. So as vice president and probably as a senator, she knew better not to use Bluetooth-enabled devices, right?
I mean, I feel like I don't feel like she was disclosing a national secret or anything. No, I feel like most people know that. But I think you can also take it too far. There are a lot of things that you could sit around and worry about. Like I've often thought, what's to stop there? I'm sure that there are hackers who could figure out how to get into your machine and figure out how to record through your camera without the little green light coming on, right?
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of people have I have a little plastic thing that, sticks onto the top of my laptop and you can close it.
Or a sticky note. My mom has a sticky note over hers.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could let yourself get really paranoid, if you think about things like that too much.
The cameras that Kristen and I are using have little doors on them, so we can close them. So you can stop that from happening. I always close mine as soon as we're done, don't you?
No, because mine doesn't live on the top of my laptop. I unhook my external camera and put it away. But I close the little thing that I bought to close off the camera on my laptop.
Got it. Yeah.
Sometimes
I
guess forget though.
Yeah. Especially when you're naked. Looking at porn.
Oh dear. Okay, moving right along. Moving right along. This is a family-friendly show.
I also wanted to tell a little story about Robert Redford because you guys probably know, if you've been alive for the last 2 days, that you know that Robert Redford died on Tuesday, September 16th. He was 89 years old. He lived a great life. He was one of our most iconic actors. He was a most amazing director. And he started the Sundance Film Festival because he wanted, at that time back, when did he start it? It was like the late 70s or early 80s, I think.
Early 80s, I think.
Independent voices the comeuppance that they deserved, because Hollywood, as we know, is really run by just a handful of big studios. And he really started the whole film festival for independent movies. And I think it's wonderful. I mean, he did so many good things. So many things came to light and got attention that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten because of him. I had, and this is why I'm talking about this. I had the amazing opportunity to go to the Sundance Film Festival 2 different times. It's in Park City, Utah, and I remember back then I went with Dennis, and we went to go snow skiing. And the reason why it's so great to go snow skiing in Park City during the Sundance Film Festival is because everyone is there for the movies. No one's there to ski.
No one's skiing.
We had the mountains to ourselves. We never had to wait for a lift line to get on the lift. The restaurants at the hotel weren't that crowded because everyone was downtown watching movies. It was wonderful. But each time we went, I went to at least 1 or 2 movies because you can get tickets online ahead of time about in December, and it always takes place in January. Anyway, one movie that I went to, we walked in and sat down. I sat down right on the edge. I was in the aisle seat about halfway back, and sitting directly behind me was Robert Redford. He was there to see the movie too. And so, of course, I had to say something. And I'm like, well, how can I make this? I don't want to just turn all the way around in my seat and be that person. So what I did is I got up out of my seat to pretend like I was going to go to the bathroom before the movie started. And I was like, oh, pretending like I didn't know he was there. And I said, Mr. Redford, I just wanted to say thank you so much for starting this whole thing. This is so amazing for independent voices. And he couldn't have been kinder and more, I don't know.
Gracious.
He was gracious. So many celebrities these days aren't, and they're just nasty when you see them in public, or they're not that person you think they are from seeing them on the big screen. So it's very nice to have someone like that he was just a normal Joe. He was sitting there in jeans and boots and a sweatshirt, and he was there to see the movie just like everyone else. And he didn't have an entourage, and he didn't walk down a red carpet. He was just there to watch the movie.
That wasn't who he was. I saw a quote from some interview that he gave years ago where he said that he felt that his celebrity, his acting career essentially was incidental to his sort of raison d'etre, because he was, an activist, although he didn't like to be talked about as an activist. I also saw that he said he hated what happened to the Sundance Festival, because when he started it, as you said, it was to give an opportunity to independent filmmakers, not to give them a comeuppance, by the way, that would be retribution. But anyway, to give them an opportunity. And it started with 1 or 200 people. And he said, let me finish this thought because I think it's important and central to who he was. He said, because it grew to be 100,000 people descending upon the Sundance Festival. And he famously said, I'd like to give the boot to the vodka people and the gift bag people and the Paris Hiltons of the world. Like, that this is not about any of that. That's not what this is. That's not the point of this. So I think he disliked that it took on, it became the spectacle that it did.
Well, it's too bad that he didn't have more control over it then. When you start something like that and you want to have your hands on it, then you need to keep control of it and not let it become that. This is an aside. But Ben & Jerry's lost control of their company. Ben & Jerry are still alive, and they're still involved with the company, but they don't own it anymore. It's owned by Unilever, a British company, right?
Yeah, a huge food conglomerate.
Jerry just quit this week because he's so upset with what they're doing and the direction that the company's going in, and he has no control over it. His name is on it, and he can't control it. They had plenty of money. They didn't need to sell out. I don't know why you let your company get away from you, but it happens. And I guess even with the best intentions, people lose control of things, right? In-N-Out Burger will forever be a family company. They've decided they're not going to let anyone get their hands on it so that they can control it and keep it the way they want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
M&M Mars, they've kept it in the family. They don't want anyone else controlling their candy company, so they've never sold out. So it can be done. It just takes a little bit more work.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Anyway, that was my Redford story, and I did want to call you out for calling me out. Thank you for that. I mean, you did go to a much nicer, better college than I did, so I get it. You're smart. You're smarter than me. We'll just say that now.
I don't think I'm smarter than you. I think I have a better vocabulary. That's all.
That is true. That is true.
Well, I don't know. This next story, I wonder if this guy has a decent vocabulary. Who knows? There's a TikTok influencer whose name is Sean Davis, who just got hit with a $10,000 Airbnb fee. Okay, so he rented the $2,400 a night invisible house in the Joshua Tree area in California, right? It's a sleek, glass-wrapped mansion, and famous people are renting it all the time. Lizzo, Diplo, Demi Lovato. There was a clause in the contract that he apparently signed that said commercial shoots in this house require a $10,000 fee. He says he never saw the clause, but also he claims he didn't intend to do a photo shoot there. He simply just posted a single selfie of himself outside the house. He's an influencer. So is that fair? Is that fair to hit him with that, to enforce that part of the contract? I don't know.
So.
Is a selfie a commercial shoot just because you're an influencer?
I don't know. I think it's because of who he is. Like if Kim Kardashian had rented the house and she took a couple selfies from the house, then yeah, it's basically a photo shoot because of given how many followers she has and influence she has. So yeah, these people want to get the money. I guess,
but Kim Kardashian is a household name. I don't know who the hell Sean Davis is. How many followers does he have?
I don't know offhand, but apparently he is a TikTok influencer and he has a lot of followers. I mean, I could look it up, but I'm not going to. You should have done that.
Okay,
this is your story.
Right. Oh, anyway, well, but pardon me.
I'm just teasing you. I'm teasing you. No, but I've stayed in several houses that have this in the contract. And guess what? There is no excuse for saying you didn't see it in the contract that you signed. If you sign a contract,
unfortunately, yeah,
you should read the damn contract.
But I think we're all so accustomed to scrolling. Like, who, honest to goodness, like even when you rent a Turo or I don't know, or even just a commercial, does anyone read the 25 pages of fine print? Don't we all have better things to do with our lives?
Yeah, but you're supposed to. You should know what you're signing. I agree. Every time I rent a car, I don't read the whole thing.
Of course not.
But you're supposed to. You're supposed to understand what you're getting in on, right?
So you can't complain when they hit you with a $10,000 fee that you didn't see.
Houses that we've rented in Palm Springs have the same thing. It said no, if you want to do a photo shoot here or have a wedding here or any of these XYZ things, it costs extra. And I think that's fair.
Yes, a wedding I think is different, and I think that's more black and white. Well, here's another what would you do thing. A bride and groom recently charged their guests who didn't attend. They invited 200 people to their wedding, and when someone didn't show who had RSVP'd that they were coming, they sent them a bill.
Yeah, I've seen it.
For the cost of the meal.
It's gone viral.
Come on.
Okay, that's tacky as all get out. I understand a restaurant, a very popular, very busy restaurant where it's impossible to get reservations and they require you to put your credit card down because so many people nowadays, including me, different. I've done it too, not shown up for a reservation. This is different.
That's a restaurant. This is a wedding. Right. That's different.
I'm agreeing with you. This is different. Yeah, it's horrible. If you RSVP to go to someone's fancy sit-down dinner wedding and you don't show up, you should have a really damn good reason, like a sickness or a death in the family, or I don't know, right? Your dog broke its leg. I mean, your flight was delayed.
Yeah.
There's lots of legitimate excuses, but if you just don't go because you don't feel like it, you're kind of an asshole if you RSVP'd and said you were coming.
Of course.
Yeah.
People have no
you
manners.
should feel bad. And what you should do is, no, I wouldn't pay the bill. Like, say, Kristen, you had a wedding, and which you did, and I was there, so you wouldn't do this to me. But if you sent me a bill for $150 each for, Dale and me because we didn't come to your wedding, I'd write on it, haha, and mail it back to you with no money.
Right.
But
right.
what I would do is send you a much nicer gift than I originally was going to, for the inconvenience of not eating
of not showing.
Right, and not eating the rubber chicken that you were going to serve me.
I think it's equally disrespectful when people don't bother to RSVP at all and then show up. That's also disrespectful because you're denying the person the ability to plan appropriately. But you don't ever send someone. I mean, that's like a big old FU, basically, to send someone a bill for the meal.
It really
Stupid.
Is. You want me to tell you one more story, which is a big fat FU? The 60-year-old Publishers Clearinghouse filed for bankruptcy this year.
Oh.
If you were one of those forever winners, you're shit out of luck. Can I just tell you that?
Oh,
they stopped paying on July 15th. One example is this woman from Bellingham, Washington, who had won $5,000 a week for life. Well, guess what? She really depended on that money. She'd been getting it for over 10 years, and all of a sudden, it stopped coming. She hasn't worked in over 10 years because who would work if you were getting $5,000 a week? That's enough to live on in most places in this country, right? That's $20,000 a month.
Oh, man.
What's 20 times 12? 160?
Yeah.
No, $240,000 a year.
Good quality of life in Bellingham, Washington.
Yeah, so if you were making $240,000 a year, why would you have a job? So now you're shit out of luck. Because Publishers Clearinghouse ain't sending that $5,000 a week check anymore. Of course, they didn't send it every week. They were sending it once a year, but I think that's horrible. And that's just one example. There's lots and lots of people who are shit out of luck. I didn't know this, but the Publishers Clearinghouse was started by a family in Long Island back in 1953. They started selling magazine subscriptions for multiple publications from their house through direct mail, and then it kind of skyrocketed from there, and they started giving money away once a year, and then that turned into multiple times a year, and they made a big name for themselves. You remember the commercials, right? Wasn't it?
Of course.
Ed McMahon, was he Publishers Clearinghouse, or was he the other one?
That's a whole huge I can't think of the right word. Yeah, the Prize Patrol. There's a bunch of stuff out there about, like, I remember Ed McMahon holding the check for Publishers Clearinghouse, but if you look online, Google will tell you he never worked for the Publishers Clearinghouse.
It was the other one.
My grandfather, my mom's dad, was absolutely convinced that he was going to win the Publishers Clearinghouse, and he bought. There was a way at some point where you could buy tickets for the future. It was like you could buy a bunch of entries into it in perpetuity. And he used to say, keep these numbers when I die. You have to look to make sure to see if I win after I'm dead and gone. God bless him.
Did he ever win?
No, of course not.
But he also had plans for what he was going to do when he won the lottery, right?
Yeah, and he would get all agitated of how he was going to split up his winnings. Who was going to get what?
I do that too.
I know you do. You have a spreadsheet all planned out and all that. Yeah, that's hilarious. But those were simpler times. These times that we're living in are so scary to me. I want to talk about social media for a minute, and I have had this conversation, I don't know how many times, with Max recently. Max is 7. He constantly is asking me when he's getting a phone, right? And I keep saying, when you're 25, you're not like, don't even think about it.
Don't even think about it. Not till college.
And what they are saying, what I'm hearing I heard it on the Today Show recently and other places, is that the experts are saying, do not give a smartphone to any kid younger than high school age. Do not give a kid in middle school a smartphone.
Absolutely not.
And yet, and the statistic is that 93% of teens age 13 to 17 right now are using social media. And more than 1 in 3 of those polled self-report that they're on it constantly. But it's interesting
Like
because
me.
I know, but there are different opinions. And I actually went to get my hair done recently and was talking to a new stylist that I'm going to. And she has a 6-year-old and an 11-year-old. And we were talking about this topic. And I was saying, my 7-year-old's already asking me for a phone. And I've told him not like until you're in your 20s, jokingly. And she said, really? Both of my kids have phones. And I thought,
how old are her kids?
What? 6 and 11, I just said. And she said, I really feel like they would be at a disadvantage if they didn't have one because all of their friends have them. They play games on them all the time. She said they would miss out on human connection with their friends that don't live close to us if they didn't have a way to connect with them.
Go outside and play with them.
And I said, well, are they asking you to get on social media? And she said, not the 6-year-old. The 11-year-old is on Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat, but the 6-year-old's not. So I don't know. I just think it is, I don't know. I think there are, and other people other mothers that I've talked to have said, when my kids left elementary school and started getting on a bus and going with other parents who were taking them to after school activities because they were basically farther away from me, that is when I wanted them to have a smartphone because I wanted them to be able to contact me. I wanted to be able to see where they were when they got in the car with so-and-so's mom who was taking everyone to soccer practice. So I get that part of it too. But the social media aspect of it seems very, very dangerous to me.
Well, listen, we somehow survived without our parents being able to track our every move, and we're still here. So I don't get that. I get it. I get you wanting to do it with your 7-year-old. I get that because it is available to you. But somehow our moms didn't know where we were, and we were usually in places we shouldn't have been.
Yes. There's something to be said for having independence. But the thing that worries me about it is that if someone was bullying you or being mean to you or someone was calling you names on the school bus when we were kids, when you got off the bus and walked through your front door, it stopped and you were safe from it. Kids now it's 24/7. They can't escape it.
You need to keep them off. If I had a kid right now, he or she would not be online. Wouldn't.
Yeah.
Would not. Yeah. And I know that you use it to your advantage on many. I mean, like when we had dinner together and he had his little device while we're sitting there at dinner.
His iPad.
But can't he just sit there and talk to you? I mean, I leave it at home sometimes, It's kind of like a crutch, isn't it? Doesn't it become a crutch and like, sometimes, I can't survive without looking at a screen for 10 minutes?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So, it's hard though. It's really hard. It's really hard because it's what they're all talking about. Like all of his friends are, for instance, I know we're going long, but I have to say this one thing. Have you heard of K-pop Demon Hunter on Netflix? It is a movie. It's an animated movie. It is the most watched movie in Netflix history.
Is it violent?
Everyone in Max's elementary school was talking about it. He's been watching it nonstop for the past 2 days. We watched it together as a family last night. The music is phenomenal. We're all singing it. Rob's walking around singing it. But my point is, he's in 2nd grade, and the kids in his elementary school are talking about Netflix movies. Like they're all on it. It's crazy.
We'll definitely be talking about this issue again. But guess what, Kristen? It's Friday, and it's time for it's time for me to get a cocktail, I'm sure. Anyway, love you so much. I can't wait to talk to you again. How about on Monday?
Let's do it on Monday. Good? Yeah.
All right. I love you.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
The Swish Edition is a production of Bethwick Media, LLC. Learn more about the show at swishedition.com. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast app or site. But only if you like us.